There is one thing holding you back from achieving everything that you want. Imagine if no matter what you did or what you dreamt, that you would absolutely 100% achieve that thing, and you would live a life that you could not imagine is as abundant as it actually could be. So, what is up? It's Dean, and I'm going to share with you the one thing that is holding you back from creating that life that you truly want. I was at, so every Sunday, I go to Whole Foods. My family and I go to Whole Foods, and for, almost, I would say about a year or 2 years, we order, not every week, but a lot of the time, we order a bunch of whole pizzas from Whole Foods. And maybe that was some kind of pun or something like that. I'm not sure. Whole Foods, whole pizza, Papa John's. Just kidding. All right. So we order these whole pizzas from Whole Foods. And for the most part, not every single time, there is a guy there who I consider a friend. We talk about his life, and he shares all the things that he does. And recently, I was at Whole Foods. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Nose is leaking. I was talking with him, and a very interesting conversation came up, and he asked me, once he found out, after all these years, he had no idea what I did. He had no idea that I was an entrepreneur, that I do what I do. And he asked, how can I, do you think it's even possible for me to start something on my own? Because he wanted to be able to make more money on the side. He wanted to be able to grow his wealth, right? So I immediately, 100%, you know me, I believe that everybody can be an entrepreneur. And I said, absolutely, dude, you totally can. And I think that you would be great at it. You just the mindset that he has, it is totally 100% possible. But it was really interesting because one of the things that he said as we were talking, it was a very short conversation. Unfortunately, I had to go. It had to be relatively short. But one of the things he said, and he was absolutely honest about it, which a lot of people aren't, is that he was afraid. He had a lot of fear when it came to starting his own thing. And that is profound. And I think that's probably the first step in deciding whether or not you want to do something on your own, and whether or not you are willing to push past that fear. And what is that fear? It's not just the fear of failure. It is the fear of loss of free time, loss of the comforts that you might have, loss of money because you messed up on something. There is a number of things. And so I remember back when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, prior to all of it, I was so afraid of what would happen tax-wise. I had never incorporated anything. I never did anything other than the normal 1040 easies or whatever that are part of the tax system here in the United States. Super easy. They take the most out. I think maybe one time I was trading stocks, and then I went to a H&R Block to get it done, and they actually helped me with deductions and everything like that. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I was so terrified because now I have to file a Schedule C or whatever it was for my LLC. And then you had to do estimated taxes. And what if I messed up on the estimated taxes? Am I going to get penalized? And am I going to go to jail, essentially? And am I going to pay way more taxes than I have ever done because I took the plunge at starting my own thing? And that's what I was so absolutely afraid of. But was it reality? Was it actually the case that I was going to get reamed? I was going to get hurt by the tax man? No. The very interesting thing is that it was quite the opposite. When you are on the personal side, you are doing your taxes. A lot of times when you call up, you find that the people are rude, the people are not caring about what you need done, and it seems like you're in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble for not doing whatever, and then you have this fear. I had this fear in the back of my head that I'm going to get audited because of what I'm doing with my business. In fact, it was kind of the complete opposite. One, the more that you incorporate into different entities and you have different entities working on your behalf, almost like little zombies, you are less likely to get audited. Very interesting. Doesn't mean you can't, but you're much less likely. On top of that, the really interesting thing is that I remember this one time I got this letter in the mail that was from the IRS that said I failed to pay some tax, something, and that I owed them $200 something. I was so scared to call because I wanted to call just to make sure that I needed to pay this thing. I was so scared to call, and I thought I was going to get yelled at. It was going to open me up to some audit. It was going to open me up to some kind of investigation. They were going to be mean. I was all these different things. I call them, and this nice lady answers and says, my agent number is blah, 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 blah. How may I help you? And I said, hey, I got this thing in the mail, and it's for $250. I don't know what exactly it's for, and how best to pay that? And she was like, oh yeah, no problem, sir. So that's for such and such. And all you have to do is, you can enter in your credit card number now. In fact, if you did it now, because you're going to get a penalty tomorrow if you don't. It's like another $4. So then you're going to get a mail for that $4 or whatever. Why don't we do it now? If we do it now, you can avoid that penalty and we can get it all done and everything. And she was the nicest person in the world. And I paid the thing, and that was probably the scariest thing that I've ever had to do with taxes. And it's been, since 2009, it's 2022 now, so almost 13 years. It's not, these fears that we have, a lot of them are unfounded. And how do you get past those fears? How do you move on to where you can grow and do the things that you want to do and move past these fears? Well, there is no easy way. The only way, in my opinion, and this is just my way of doing it, is that just as if you're afraid of jumping into a pool filled with cold water or a lake that's icy cold or or the ocean, you know it's going to be uncomfortable. You know that it's actually going to be good for you. Studies show that it helps your lymphatic system move around and everything like that. You know that this is something that is going to be beneficial to you, but it's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. What do? What's the best thing you can do? Is it just kind of walk in slowly? No. A lot of the times the best thing you can do is just dive in and shock your body. It sucks for the first 10 seconds, which feels almost like 2 minutes. But when you're done, what happens? Your body gets used to it. It feels good. You feel accomplished. And you look at your friends who are still on shore waiting, and you start saying, come on, let's go, come in. And you start splashing them and everything like that. That's the way it is in real life. These fears, I had several different people. One in particular I had who wanted to be an entrepreneur like me. And this is somebody who I thought was absolutely a great friend. And his name was Steve. He wanted to start a business. He had a large family like I did. wanted to start a business. He moved to Austin, Texas, wanted to start a business. Oh man, still got something on my teeth. And he did not want to let go out of fear of loss playing, I think it was like Farmville or some kind of poker game on Facebook when all of that stuff was really popular on Facebook, all those Facebook games. And so I told him, hey, you're going to have to give that up. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. And he never did. Years later, he was in the exact same spot. Maybe he got millions of poker chips on that game that counts for nothing, but he was in the exact same spot. And I remember commenting, I was doing a lot of content. I think it was on either LinkedIn. No, it was on Facebook, doing content. And somebody was really nasty to me. And he liked their comment. So I responded to the person, super nice. But I said something that essentially was calling them out. And he unfriended me. And then I went over to LinkedIn and I said, hey man, I hope all's well. And he blocked me on LinkedIn. And this is not even, I was not even addressing to him. He essentially cut me out of his life. Why? Because he was too afraid to take the leap. And he saw where I was at compared to where he was at. You have to jump in. You have to try something, do anything. You want to be an entrepreneur? Start cleaning trash cans. You want to be an entrepreneur? Do a service for people in your neighborhood saying, hey, when I will take out your trash to be set, every Friday, I'll set it out in front for you. You just pay me $5 a week, put your trash out in front for you. I'll just go to the side of your house, grab your trash cans, put it out in front so you don't have to do it. You get 50 customers within that neighborhood at $5 a week. What is that? There's just an idea because I know some people who have done something similar. 5 times 50. Yeah. So 50 customers, that's $250 a week that you just made moving trash cans, right? Maybe it's $10, maybe it's $20. $20 a week times, what's that? 20 times $20 a week times 50. 1,000. I knew it was going to be 1,000. I knew it. That's an extra $1,000 of you just popping on your earphones, going, charging the people, and for them, it's $100 a week or $100 a month, and you just go and move their trash cans, whatever it might be. It might be pool cleaning, it might be whatever, but do something. That's how you get past those fears. You have to do, and it could be with talking with people. It could be with, for me, a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is through social dynamics, talking with people, being more expressive, speaking more slowly, more deeply, talking with whomever I want, not being shy. And was it uncomfortable in the beginning? Absolutely. Did I seem like a weirdo to some people? Absolutely. Do I still seem like a weirdo to some people? Not nearly as much, but I'm sure somebody thinks I'm weird. And so even with that, it was extremely uncomfortable. The way that I had to carry myself, I wanted to be much more open, like with my movements, taking up space like a leader would take when he's talking, right? Speaking more slowly, less ums and ahs. There goes my desk. It's going up. Why are you going up, desk? Desk, go down. Right. Desk is coming down. Not being afraid when stuff like that happens, where I would have been like, oh God, just cut. We got to stop that. These are things that I'm currently working on. Being okay with comments that are going to be negative. I've had a lot of negative comments that before would have devastated me. Had this been years ago, it would have devastated me. Now I kind of chuckle, I smirk. Maybe I'll respond, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll turn it into a YouTube video. Who knows? These are the things that you have to do. You have to get out there. You have to put yourself out there. You have to start. There's no easy way. But when you do, you'll feel good. When you do, you'll feel accomplished. When you do it, you'll feel like you own the world. Why? Because you do. It's your world, and you're taking what you want. This is your one life. You are enjoying that life. That is why you feel so good even if you make a fool out of yourself. I've made a fool out of myself so many times, but yet who's more foolish? The guys who played it safe and who have their normal job, maybe have increased their pay by, let's say, 100%, when mine in percentage points from when I was working in corporate America to now is in the thousands of percentage points higher. And freedom. That is what you get when you start pushing past your fear. You jump in, you make a fool out of yourself. You look at what you did and say to yourself, I did that. Wow. That was I was so glad that I did it. I am proud of myself that I did it. And then start looking at the good rather than the bad. Maybe you wanted to talk to somebody and they responded negatively. The fact is, you went and did it when most people wouldn't. That's a huge accomplishment. Maybe you started a business and you started making a few $100s a month, but you realized that this was not going to be something that you could scale into something bigger. You started a business and you went from zero to a couple $100s a month. That's huge. Nobody else does that. Very few. So be proud of yourself. Go through the fear and jump into the cold water. You deserve it. This is Dean Soto, and I'll catch you in the next video.